Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Clueless Capitalists, where we discover interesting startups, interview founders, and help you become less clueless with angel investing. My name is Razi.
And I'm Osman. Welcome to the Clueless Capitalists.
In this episode, we are speaking to Umayer Islam. Umayer is the founder of Homefectionery. Homefectionery is building Bangladesh's largest home-cooked lunch subscription network. And through them, office-goers subscribe to affordable and healthy lunches from nearby home chefs. Welcome to the episode, Umayer.
Thank you, Osman Bhai and Razi, for inviting on the show. So I'm Umayer, the criminal who actually hosts largest amount of lunch for every day in Dhaka, Bangladesh for office goers. It's interesting to speak to both of you. So we are going to talk about our business today. Let's see.
So one of the first questions we like to ask always is, how did you get started?
So it is really interesting. So during COVID, I actually saw a lot of brainers actually lost their jobs. So I was thinking, and I went back to my storyboard with peers discussing that, like, how do we create an opportunity where a lot of people can work and they can earn significant amount of money to support their families. So one thing that happened during COVID in Bangladesh, I don't know about other places, a lot of people just sitting in home, they actually became home bakers. They started baking beautiful cakes, pastries and other things. So, and they started selling it in a small scale. So then we saw like people from nationally, a lot of home chefs, home and men, they're trying to cook and like make money. But when we started speaking with them, we figured out they actually cannot get the raw material they need to process those orders, because there are like very handpicked suppliers to actually import these goods to Bangladesh and they actually supply. So they had a distribution issue. So we quickly set up a website, e-commerce like very basic. And then we started supplying raw materials to all these people. During COVID, this happened. It was nice. It was a good business. Then post-COVID, what happened when everything went normal? People are like, okay, I can buy from bakery shops next door. So the demand went down and like people started going back to their jobs slowly. So then we figured out, okay, what do we do with all these people who actually came to the platform? And then we found out that there's one demand that people needs every day, and it's a rolling thing. You don't need to like bring in customers every day. It's office lunch, and those who actually are baking, they are also chefs. They can actually cook decent Bangla dishes. So from there, basically this business, we actually planned that we'll start supplying lunch for office gears for major cities. From there, we started doing in capital city. Now we're doing it in only Dhaka, but we slowly plan to expand back to places we actually are serving earlier. From there, it all started.
That's interesting. So you started in the pandemic. You were initially a baking goods supplier in essence.
That's why the confectionery, the fictionery is still there. We didn't change the brand name.
This is really interesting because conversations that we normally have are people who started their company before COVID and nearly went bankrupt during COVID, and yours is the other way around, where you started because there was a demand for a particular thing during the COVID pandemic period, and your challenge in this case is the other way around. What do I do after, when people revert back to normal? And that for me is the first time I've come across this where we've had this type of problem. And the only other industries that really benefited from COVID were the ones that WebEx, Zoom, Blue Jeans. So it's good to hear. So tell us more about what you've done since then to kind of keep your business viable, keep it growing, keep it sustainable.
So I was looking, as I was building the tech and like looking at the financials, so I just realized like we have fed more than 1 million people last 19 months. Imagine touching that number of people through a business, which started very small. It's like we are going to cook food. It's more like lunch, going to your office. It's fresh. But from there, I just realized like, imagine almost 1 million people being fed. It really was a very interesting data that I found. It's not sales number. It was like, okay, how many people we have fed till then? It's like 1 million people. Wow.
Tell me a little bit about the chefs. How have you sourced them? What type of profile are there? What type of demographics are there? And what impact are you making with those people?
So initially when we started, the whole idea was like, you have recently been to Dhaka. So I've seen that these commercial spaces, they are very packed and like you don't have much space. So like you just cannot big restaurant, affordable, where people can come in during lunch and have their lunch. So we are trying to solve the problem and we started looking into it. And then we figured out that like just close to these commercial zones, we also have residential spaces. So people actually living nearby to these spaces, and our woman normally stays home. So that's kind of traditional. Now more women are coming back to work, but a good part of our women stays home, they cook for family. So we figured out, what if we can cook a small portion of lunch from these kitchens and serve to nearby offices. And that's how we started. So initially when we launched, it's basically individuals, they started ordering, 2-3 people they started ordering. So it was very easy for us at the very beginning. Then what happened, like from 2-3 people, the entire team started ordering. Then we faced the first challenge we faced is like, from a home chef, we can basically give maximum 50 boxes from a home kitchen. That's best. Imagine 100 people ordering from one office. And then we are sending food from 2 or 3 different kitchens to one office. And they're like, we were sitting together and you were eating kind of like, okay, the meal says same, but like my chicken look different, his chicken look different. Then we're like, okay, this is a problem. This is a problem we have to solve. So then we started looking that how do we start processing more lunch from individual kitchens. Actually, it's space constraint. It's not like our chefs cannot cook more. So then we reached out to top chefs saying, are you going to can you transform some of your existing space and do a bigger kitchen that actually can handle hundreds of boxes per day? And actually we turned some of our home chefs into semi-commercial kitchens. They started serving 150 boxes per day from their homes. Then basically that also hit floor, and we could not process more orders from there, because now what happened is office admins, HR started reaching out. We need food for all our staff, 300 people. Then it's how do you prepare 300 people food from individual kitchens? So from there, we actually shifted to commercial kitchens. So we actually built commercial kitchens, or then one of the kitchens that we built first. That kitchen actually works as a model tilted for us. So from that kitchen, we can process up to 2,000 boxes per day. It's very small space, 800 square feet space, you can process 2,000 boxes. It gives you around 30 to 40,000 USD in revenue monthly. So that model, basically, we figured out, okay, this is a good model. So we have home chefs, we have these semi-commercial spaces, 800 square feet spaces where you can cook 2,000 boxes. Then we started franchising out the same model. So now we have expanded to 3 more zones in Dhaka city, where these kitchens plus home chefs holding the fort for us.
I have a very clueless question. Before you went in this 800 square feet model with 2,000 boxes per day, if you were ordering from a home chef, what if he or she fell sick, or wasn't in the mood to cook that many dishes? How did you overcome that issue? So for example, I've been commissioned to say prepare 50 boxes per day for this office. And today I just woke up late and I was like, man, I don't feel like doing 50 boxes. And then suddenly you're 50 boxes short. How did you overcome those kind of challenges?
So here's one thing we have learned. So over serving a lot of people. Now if you go into our website or see offering, you'll see that every single day we are doing different meals. So we don't repeat our meals throughout the month. That's been our biggest selling point till then. People do not replicate that. It's very challenging because so your chef needs to cook one dish every day, but that dish is not repeated throughout the month. So meaning you have to be top chef every day cooking a single dish and you have to perfect it. So what we did, actually, all our kitchens cook same meal for the day. So it's a standardized meal, standardized recipe. Everybody is following same recipe, same ingredients, and then these boxes are prepared. So at any given day, we have 3 to 4 different servings, but basically everyone is cooking same meal. So that's how we have solved it. Now everybody is eating same lunch, sitting at different places. So It actually simplified their life. So you don't need to prepare 10 different meals every day. It's very complex.
So just so that I understand, the majority of your home chefs, they're using their home facilities, they've allocated more space to have larger capacity. And these people are typically women, housewives who are looking to earn additional income. Is that correct?
Absolutely right. But we are no additional income. We are their main source of income right now.
So this is really interesting, and I think this is probably why honorary Clueless Capitalist Mustafa is really keen on this, because it does have a significant impact for people and for women and for families, because it's giving them this additional income. And like you said, in some cases it's not just additional income, it's the main source of income. So now you've created a revenue stream for families which they might not have had. This pretty much meets, if we'd have done this during the International Women's Day type of conversation, it would have been the type of thing that everyone wants to know about. What are we doing to empower women? What are we doing to get them back into the workplace and to get them to become part of society by giving them financial inclusion where they can? I think for many people and for many investors, this is the type of thing, especially for angel investors, where it's not just purely money driven, but they want to give back and they want to encourage positive impact to society. This is what you're doing here. But when we had this conversation with Serish from Pakistan in Bisbee, one of the things that she also brought out was like she was trying to do this for women who had their clothes and they wanted to sell them, and suddenly they had the ability to generate side income. But what she was noticing was that the indirect effect was that these women didn't normally have bank accounts of their own. And to play that part in society, they needed to go and get a bank account and to have their own independent financial standing. And that gave them a lot more freedom and a lot more empowerment. How are you going about paying your home chefs? Is it cash? Do they need a bank account? Do they need a Bcash account? How are you doing that?
So you already know about the solution. So basically Bcash made it very easier for us. So everybody has an account. So what we do, we actually reimburse them on Sunday. Sunday morning, they get a bank notification, they got money. And some of them also have now created their accounts, which is easy for us. So we reimburse everybody of them like on Sunday morning. That's one thing. And other thing is like what we're building is not only about the chefs. Imagine we have a lot of suppliers, especially fresh veggies who actually supply us fresh vegetables in the morning. We actually turned a lot of street vendors into professional suppliers. Now they do not sit back on the street side anymore. They supply us, they make good money. And good thing is like, as they do not have any other work, so what they do, often they go to the sources to buy fresh vegetables for us, brings it in middle of the night, so it gets cleaned and sent to all the home chefs to prepare next day. Because we actually also provide them with all the necessary raw materials centrally. And at the same time, delivery riders, we pay them above industry standards. The whole idea is like all the people included into the ecosystem is basically they survive on their own, and together we actually build a business that is a sustainable one.
So you collectively elevate so many different individuals, right? From street vendors, make them level them up to be a supplier, and they don't need to be in the hot sun waiting out there for someone to buy the vegetables, which are by the day or by the hour getting poorer and poorer quality because of the environment that they're in. Yeah. And now they have ready customers to buy from. That's amazing.
For this approach, one good thing we have experienced is like people have started owning the business. They don't feel like they're just a vendor. So they feel obliged to like send quality produce. Oftentimes, like they come in, they dine with us. So they feel like multiple people come in, dine with me during lunch. And they're like, we are like sharing lunch. And they're like, okay, this is what I gave you today. I said like, see the freshness, that's why you have a quality meal. So we have actually built this culture into the business. Riders sharing the same meal, they also get a box, same box that they delivered. So they also feel like, okay, this is my lunch box. I need to ensure that customers get it on time. So things like that actually has helped significantly to work with very low tier of people who doesn't have a lot of education, but they're dedicated toward the service. That's one of the good things that actually helped us to build this business due to this approach, I believe.
I was just going to ask, at this point of time, how many home chefs do you have?
Around 200, let me give you the exact number. It's around 310 chefs cooking right now, active.
And then you're saying for the kitchen that serves 2,000 meals a day, that's four kitchens?
Such kitchens are 4, and we on top of that, we have some smaller kitchens who actually can do 400 and 500 boxes. So actually Home Chefs has also created spaces where they actually can cook up to 500 boxes. So it's like they're also like upscaling their skill. Let's see, I believe that at certain point of time, a lot of home chefs actually build these commercial kitchens because it's profitable business.
How do you ensure that all these home chefs, this is just a very Singaporean kind of questions, right? So in Singapore, they have, like if you come here and you go to the hawker centers, every single person who works in the hawker center, they have to go through like a food hygiene course. They have to go through a number of courses to ensure that they know how to prepare food in a hygienic manner. So now when I imagine a home chef at home, I'm just wondering like how does a Homefectionery ensure that they meet a certain, and maybe in the early days, now definitely you have a process and whatnot, but in the early days, how did you ensure a consistent standard in terms of hygiene, cleanliness?
So when we started, we basically reached out to top chefs in Facebook. They already had their pages. They were selling something, not lunch. Definitely, they are doing something special meals. These people who has expertise in handling, logistic, delivering food on time. So we brought them in, and especially I built an almost FMCG for baby food, ready to eat. So I also went through a lot of food trainings for 2 years, very intense trainings, because like imagine ready to eat baby food is very sensitive. So I personally went through a lot of food hygiene trainings, contamination things, a lot of things. Basically, I created module. So initially trained these people that like, okay, these are the issues you have to handle if you are cooking for us. Your space, your preparation of food, how you handle your raw materials, a lot of things. So, but we made it simple. They know how to cook. We only needed to train them. Okay, you already know how to cook, but it's important that how you handle your food, how you prepare your raw materials. So those things, it was challenging when we started doing it from first batch of chefs. Then we tried a very interesting model that actually worked and actually helped us grow quickly. What we did is like, we turned these home chefs who actually started selling with us, and they sold for like 3 to 4 months. They already knew the practices. Then we said, okay, whoever new chefs wants to join the network, they need to come through you. Basically, they go to these kitchens, they get basic training, then come centrally, sits for a session where we actually test them that they know the basics. And the chefs who are the team leads, their job is to ensure that these people actually follow protocol. So they visit them without notifying them, and they're like very locally, they're there, so it's very easier to monitor them. So basically, chefs bringing in more chefs into the network is the model that actually helped us.
So what processes do you have in place for all of these different like home chefs? Okay, once they've been trained, once they've proven that they can do the basics, how do you maintain that quality once they're in the field, once they go back home, once they're creating the product for you? How do you monitor and manage and maintain that?
So this is what the process we have built, because like now it's very complex, because like we're cooking for a lot of people. So it's earlier it was easy for us. So we could monitor. Now this is very complex, because like a lot of people are cooking, a lot of food going out in a 16-minute window. Everything needs to be very precise. So one thing that actually has helped, that's beyond any SOP. It's the ownership people has taken. The way home chefs treat it is like, if I don't send a prepared box, which actually is up to the standard of Homefectionery, what I'm going to do is like, we have a very simple process of handling customer. We are only business in Bangladesh who has like lunch service, people are 24/7 on phone, we have WhatsApp, we have all the messaging inbound. So if anything goes wrong with your food, you can immediately notify us, you get a refund, you get a box, whatever it is. So like we have built a process. We are the very first company who has done it in the lunch service industry in Bangladesh. So that's one thing. So what happened? So I send you a box, you're not happy. So photo, a video, a conversation starts popping up. So immediately know from where this box came in. So we actually send them that this is what happened, and they acknowledge, because like they know that this is an evidence. We have built this habit into them. You have to accept first. If you don't accept, we cannot improve. So once they accept that, okay, this went wrong, then we actually give them the solution. This is what you need to do. If they don't do this, and this happens for 3 times in their total period, we actually stop taking food from them. So the moment we stop taking it from them, despite giving the warnings and modules, so you actually lose an opportunity. And once you are out, it's very difficult to come back. Till that, we have like suspended 7 chefs, and that's all. And like the last one, I think we suspended more than 6 months before. So these things didn't happen recently. So people have realized that it's important that they follow the recipe. It's important they follow the process. It's also important they take responsibility of their own work. Because like the way we explain this, or I or team pitch to the chefs, is like, this business is all about everybody getting involved. Chefs is important, riders are important, suppliers are important. Platform is just something that like connects everybody, but they are more important components of the business, not us. Because we just handle customers. We are like salesmen, so we bring in more customers onto the platform, but we cannot cook. That's not our expertise. We have people in the team who are expert on like creating module, providing them training, but they don't cook. It's chefs. So it's important what is being executed at the last minute. That's one approach, very human-centric, not paperish, but it actually is working, Usman bhai.
And that triggered another question in terms of delivery. Okay, you've got one chef creating, let's say, 50 boxes. Who delivers that from the chef directly to the clients? Because maybe there's 20 boxes that need to go to one location, 20 to another, and another 10 to somewhere else. Is that through your own network of delivery agents, or is it the chef, or is it existing platforms like Patal?
So it's basically our own network of writers, but what we've done is very interesting. So we actually don't have any vehicle to drop food. Even if your office is taking food for 500 people, and you will see a chain of cycle riders. They each carry 33 boxes, and that's marketing stunt for us. Like during lunch hour, in logistics we service, we'll see a lot of cycle riders. Is like all Homefectionery. Like, why so many people? One behind them, one behind them. Like everybody's going one direction. So what we've done is like the whole objective of this business to empower more people, right? So we didn't even with scale, we didn't go for vehicles. So we stick to very basic. The very first thing we started, insulated bags that can carry maximum 33 boxes. All these people, they are taking boxes in one office. They're like 20, 30 riders going in, dropping food. And they're like, what these guys are doing? So this actually also helped us. A lot of buildings that has restrictions, like I cannot send my salespeople there, but riders, because they have food orders, they go in. So when they started seeing these people in lifts, they're like, what do you guys do? Like in so many numbers you come in, like we drop food on 12th floor, and they're like, more people coming in, they're like, what these people, what do they do? They're like, we do lunch, and they give the flyer. So that actually also helped us. It's not like we only created opportunity, that also helped us to like grow.
And just for the audience here, let's be really clear, because there might be people from Europe, for example, or from other parts of Southeast Asia, where the habit is very different. For me, when I went to Bangladesh last time and I went to some of the offices, they actually had a dedicated room where you would eat, and they'd bring a caterer in and they would have a meal in the office every day. Whereas in Singapore, for example, it's considered to be the norm to go out and eat. So you leave your office, you go somewhere, you sit down. In Singapore, we have a whole ritual around it. We take your tissue packets, you go chop your seat and with a tissue packet, and you spend an hour and a half, 2 hours just having lunch. And we all work late because of that. But that's the culture in Singapore, even in Malaysia, even in Thailand. But in Bangladesh, what I found was that it was quite normal to have a meal in the office, and there would be a dedicated, or they would convert the conference room for lunch, and they would have like a caterer to come in and they would set the food out and everything like that. I liked it, but it was for many people who are listening to this, they may not understand the problem statement, and the problem statement is that it's not normal really, and there aren't locations outside where you can go and eat for lunch, and so it's a norm to actually bring food in and to eat within the office. I don't know about you, Razi, but I found it, having lived in Singapore for 18 years, I did find it a bit of a cultural kind of shift when people said, oh, here we have our lunch here, and there was like already all the food laid out.
I mean, people already start planning where they're going to go for lunch, like at the beginning of the day. Like, okay, today we're going to try this thing, and there'll be one colleague who will be like, okay, we're all going to go to this one shop, and you're going to try different food. And the thing about in Singapore is, we have so many options close by. We can just walk. You go to the hawker center, you have like 2-3 floors of options to choose from. And like being to Dhaka, you don't have. You can of course get it from your delivery apps, but you don't have the kind of options that the convenience that's there in Singapore, and the connectivity that's there. So I think this offering that you have, it's a very real one and a very necessary one.
This is something that we need to remind our viewers and other investors. We don't necessarily understand the problem statement until you actually go there and you see for yourself. And that's something that both myself and Razi have experienced firsthand. And that's probably part of the reason why we're trying to explain it a little bit more in detail here.
How many deliveries does one rider do then? Are they cyclists with the insulated bag of 33 boxes? Do they just do one location?
No, it's basically, so we allow, still till that we allow individuals to order for one day just for one box, and it's still free, no delivery charge on it. Right now, we in our total order, there are individuals who less order on the site. Their number is around 30%. It was 100% 6 months back. Right now it's 30%. So a lot of our orders been shifted to large corporations. So they are 70% of our business right now. What Osman was explaining, what he has seen is basically we also do it right now. So we actually prepare foods. Those goes in a tray that goes into the office space, and people comes in, they eat. So that's also here. But earlier we didn't do it, but now there are bigger checks and there's a demand because a lot of inbounds, because we actually have become largest brand in the largest place in the country. That was not intentional, but that's what happened because it was an open field. a lot of people are doing, but like nobody is building brand, nobody is like thinking about how we do it at scale. I think we're the first company who actually thought about it, how we like make it a like mass brand. Office Lunch Express also can be a brand, and like a lot of people can take the service as a standard one.
What's the time between the food being prepared to the food being consumed? Like, is it 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours?
We actually run by clock. So 11:30, you walk into any kitchen, you see there is no food left. It's all gone. 11:30 a.m. So basically from 11:30, the delivery starts going out. At by 1:10, everything should be done. So first drop should happen at 11:50, and the large box that should be delivered by 1:10. So anything dropped after 1:10 is actually late. That's the clock we actually work on. So food gets prepared, gets packed around 10 a.m. 9:30 to 10:30, that's the timing that like all the foods gets packed into, because we actually handle hot food. So it's important that like temperature and other issues you can understand, or it will get spoiled. So it's very tricky.
In Singapore, one of the things that has happened over the years is, unfortunately, there have been a few like food poisoning cases. Singapore having such a high standard of hygiene and all these certifications, there are still cases where there might be food poisoning on a large scale because people went to a restaurant or they maybe ordered catering. So nowadays, whenever we go to a place where there's catered food or there's a buffet line, they will always say, oh, you need to consume the food by this particular time. And if you consume the food past that particular time, then in a way you are responsible because you chose to eat it. I thought that's interesting as well, because we are tropical, it's very hot. So hot food can get spoiled if it's been out there for a long time.
So what we suggest, like you should consume by 3:30. So after that, we have seen like if you have something, especially salads, that starts getting like smelly, because some of the boxes also carry fresh salad. So it's important, like you have hot food one side, you have salad on one side, it's like packed in a paper box. I'm keeping one, so everything goes in a paper box like this. So it's like insulated both ways. So like if you keep it for a bit long, so then your salad, it's tricky.
Can you show the box again? There's some QR code on the side.
Yes. So if you want to make a complaint, here's the QR code. If you want to reorder, here's your QR code. This is what it looks. So it says Bangladesh's largest lunch platform. So that's what it says in Bangla. And you have all the preferences. There you can see, we actually put markers, what you have inside the box. And the box is two-part, I'll show you. It's interesting because this is something we started doing first. So this is the insider. So it's laminated both ways. So you actually can eat out of it. If you want, and you don't have a plate or like cutleries with you, you can start out of it. You can put even your curry, lentils, everything. It's like spoil proof, it's fine. And this is your top. So it's both part goes locked in. It's paper made, so you can quickly throw it away. No plastics, because typically entire industry runs on plastic. So we walked away from plastic. It's paper box. You get everything in a way that once done, you can trash it, put into bin.
Very cool. Very nice to see the box up close like that. Very, very high standard, I must say.
So these are the boxes. Now you can see. That's my box museum. So we actually do different boxes.
Why are they different colors? Is there any coding here?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, we do different designs for a quarter. So if it's any festival coming in, so we do a artwork based on the season and then different colors. So the main idea is not like we just started doing it out of blue. What happened is like we change our menu every day. And we very closely work with customers. So what we saw is like people are saying, I feel like I'm having same lunch every day. I'm like, how it's possible? You're not eating same lunch throughout the month. Yeah. Then I actually started spending time with them. I went deeper digging questions. And they're like, oh, the moment I see this box, I feel like, oh, I had it yesterday. That's how brain works.
Yeah.
I said, oh, so I need to do different boxes every day. It's not only about what you change inside. So from there, we started doing, it's more than a year now. We actually started doing different color boxes, different designs. You'll not see the same design in another month. So it gets consumed. We print around like 100K boxes and distributor done, that's gone, new design comes in, new print. So that's how I kept some of it behind me. It's a nice thing to have.
It's your box collection.
Yeah, someday I'll build a museum out of it.
Osman, did you see the box collection, Umayer? Maybe you want to tilt your camera again. Osman didn't catch it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's amazing, right? Yeah.
And now they're beyond my camera reach, so they're about to hit the roof.
Yes. Any more, I think it's going to topple.
Yeah, I think in another quarter that will hit the roof. But I don't have all the boxes, unfortunately, still.
How are you measuring success here? I mean, what's your key North Star metric that you want to track, and which will tell you that your business is progressing and growing at the rate that you're happy with?
We actually measure two matrices as key metrics. One is number of empowerment. That's most critical metrics for us. So we measure how many numbers of employment been created in a month. One, and two is what is the number of boxes we delivered. So those are the two things that actually gives us keep check on the business. So if number of boxes delivered per month is growing, we are healthy. If number of employment is growing, meaning we are growing with a core vision.
How many boxes do you deliver per day?
Right now we're doing around 12,000 boxes daily. And now we actually have restricted. We are doing 17,000 boxes daily. Now we have restricted our order numbers per day because that's the reason basically I'm raising. Because a lot of order, because our entire model is prepaid. So basically people goes into the website, they make a payment, then food gets prepared. So there is no wastage. So after 9 p.m. you cannot place order for next day. That's how it's been built. But now what we're seeing, like as I told you guys, that like 70% of order been shifted to corporate offices who actually pays postpaid checks. It's like coming in 10, 15, 30 days. So now we are like at capacity of managing inventory because like we handle a lot of inventory for the chefs. So now we have restricted our numbers. So we are actually doing high value boxes more to optimize our like whatever we have as an inventory capital. So that's bottleneck right now for us.
Okay, and what would success look like for you? I mean, in terms of what you want to scale to and grow, I mean, how many deliveries are you looking to do per day?
Empowerment numbers we are looking at by 2027, it's 250k people should be empowered by 2027. So that's our empowerment goal. I think we are pretty much on track because the way we're growing, it's actually we're going to the same trajectory as we projected. And second is like we want to do 100k boxes this time next year. So basically 100k boxes every day takes us to a 30 million valuation. That's how we're looking. And that's the whole plan to raise basically. Now we are raising just to do a bridge round for inventory. We don't need fund to like spend for operation and other things. I need funds just to invest in inventory so I can basically support more chefs to do 500k revenue per month.
500k revenue, so that's the actual revenue. What type of margin are you making on that?
So we make around 33% as gross.
Okay. What's your current valuation?
So I'm just raising at a very little valuation, 3 million. That's the valuation I'm raising at.
Okay, and you mentioned before we started that you've already got most of your bridge round covered for the moment. I mean, is there any space left on the cap table for investors if they're interested?
So truly, if we actually raise more, this will actually give us more breathing space to put more money in inventory, so we can actually supply to more people. It's not for us, it's not like demand issue. Top corporates asking for food. We are like restricting because like the tricky part is it's not only about money. It's not about just I get fund and like I can start serving. Quality is a big issue. So we need to make standard, meet that standard that we have delivered since day one and has actually helped us grow. So it's important that like we actually build a sustainable plan. So we get fund, we supply to people through standard kitchens that actually can deliver food that is standard. So that's the tricky part. But yes, we are open to conversation because like we're planning for a larger round early this time next year. So a lot of conversation should start, I believe, because people who are putting money right now, they've been in talk more than 7-8 months now.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask how much is left available on the current round?
So it's been fully subscribed.
Fully subscribed. See,
Yes.
Razi, we're always late to the party here, right?
We should have gone to Umayer's, one of the kitchens and pat the box, and we'd have been more convinced a few months back.
Yeah, no, that's right.
2 years too late. 2 years too late. This episode is.
No, the thing is like honestly, like I speak very little about my business publicly, and I think this is one of the first recordings where I have spoken about valuation publicly. I've shared numbers publicly, but those people who are like they know me from some time through maybe LinkedIn. Even imagine Musa, like how did he got into an advisor panel for Homefectionery? He just simply reached out in LinkedIn, then we started spending time, we had conversation. Now he's like one of the best guys I have ever met who actually helped me build his business. Every time I need something, I go back to Musa, this is what is happening, how do we like solve it? So he's like, okay, this is what we can try. What is the solutions? I give him 2-3 options, then he said, why don't you try this? Even those people who are investing, they are actually more like advisors, either on cap table or not on cap table. The whole objective being, okay, we'll join you at point you have a space.
Okay. I mean, and this is good to hear, right? Because we always talk about advisory boards and what value they have, but here you're actually saying he's one of the best people that you've had. For those of you who don't know Mustafa, how can you not know Mustafa? He's
an actor.
He's known as the, one of the three amigos. And when people think about Osman and Razi, they always say Osman, Razi, and Mustafa. So he's actively been involved in the frontier markets for a long time, and he does a lot of good advisory work with startups. This is his LinkedIn link. If you're looking to actually reach out to him, this is the guy that we're talking about. And he's been actively involved in a number of startups, providing them insights and support in terms of getting to a point where they're investable. Yeah, if you're looking at reaching out to anybody, this is his link. He is a fellow Clueless Capitalist, even though he's not right here. Sometimes we occasionally do live streams with Mustafa, and we talk to various founders without any preparation.
I was going to say this conversation is happening also because of Mustafa. I mean, we got introduced to Umayer, and we've been hearing all the good work that he's been doing, all the progress he's been making through Mustafa, and here we are.
So you can say that I'm the foot soldiers on the ground. So I have my journalists sitting somewhere else. They're guiding me. So that's a good thing. Like, honestly, I have got a lot of advices from people that I came across. They actually helped me shape this business. Now, once you know about the story, it started very small. It was nothing. And so I got a lot of advice. I have been frank. I openly write about problems. Even on our Facebook page, I write problems that we face. And oftentimes customers, they actually provide solutions. A lot of time that has happened. So it's been a very public business. And I'm not public, but the business is very public, but problems are public. We collaborate very publicly, openly. We collaborate about solutions that, okay, this is one problem we're facing. What do you think? How do you solve it? So I met people, amazing people, through this approach. And I've never hold back information to them. They also has given me valuable insights, guidance, amazing journey.
So before we move on to anything else, we talked briefly and really very briefly about sustainable development goals, and we briefly also mentioned Bombilla, which is a fund that Razi, you're invested in, and one of their focuses is on sustainable development goals and what impact a business is making. For most investors as well that are listening to this call, they would probably have that kind of mindset where I want to invest in something that has positive impact, that's gonna make a change on the ground. Let's just quickly go through some of those sustainable development goals that we hear of but we don't really know. I've pulled this out. I mean, these are the sustainable development goals that we would typically look at, and I would say that you're impacting on number 8, which is decent work and economic growth. Number 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. I would say gender equality. Number 5, I would say are the 3 main ones which just immediately jump out that you're impacting on.
So we speak about 5 also.
Yeah, gender equality.
What about number 12 is responsible consumption and production?
We are there. That's why we cut off at 9 p.m. only procure for food that's going to get prepared next day.
I mean, so these are the kind of things that it creates a framework for evaluating a business and what impact it's making, and it opens up investment opportunities as well, but especially those who want to invest in something that's impactful and they just want to know what type of framework are we looking at that it sits within, and the sustainable development goals are usually one of those. Accelerating Asia also has a lens that looks at both gender equality and the sustainable development goals, because it's generally felt that entrepreneurs like yourself are the ones that are making the positive changes to society and to humanity. These are the things that are real catalysts for change in what we're looking at if we genuinely want to see a better world for ourselves and for our children. So this is amazing just to see what you're doing.
Well, I've made 4 pages of notes over here in terms of what you're doing. So very impressive. Really good talking to you, Umayer. Thank you for sharing with us. And for everyone who's tuning tuning in, Umayer shared how he's brought Homefectionery from where he started during COVID, has now fed more than 1 million people, and how he's on a mission to create 250,000 jobs by 2027, and he's going to look at delivering 100,000 boxes per day. So if you enjoyed the episode and you want to get in touch with Umayer, we'll put his link in the description. And if you're keen to follow Homefectionery's journey, please do follow them on social media, and also do keep a lookout as we share about some more success stories from the startup world. So if you like this episode, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.